चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनितनामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदाय कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नाना शास्त्र विचारनैकनिपुणो सद्धर्म संस्थापको लोकानां हितकारिणो त्रिभुवने मान्यो शरण्याः करो राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्द भजना नन्दे नमत्तालिको वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको। Welcome to the session on Bhakti-sastri, Nectar of Devotion. We are studying chapter 17 and 18 today. In the last class, we discussed about Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti, the definition of Ragatmika Bhakti, as well as Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti. Also, the qualification for practicing Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti was described by Srila Rupa Goswami. In chapters 17 and 18, now Srila Rupa Goswami is going to enter into the subject matter of Bhava Bhakti. So, Bhava Bhakti is described here. We discussed in the very beginning of our study of this book that Rupa Goswami characterizes Bhakti into three categories. First is Sadhan Bhakti, next is Bhava Bhakti, third is Prema Bhakti. Then Sadhan Bhakti is put into two categories, Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti and Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti. So, having described all of that, now he has come to Bhava Bhakti. Fine. Bhava is very close to Prema. Bhava is just like Srila Rupa Goswami says, before the sun rises in the sky and you can see the sun, you see the sunlight. If the sun is rising, you see the sunlight. If the sunlight is there, that means the sun is going to rise very soon, isn't it? So he says prema is compared to the sun, and bhava is compared to a ray of that sun. Prema ankura, a ray of that sun. So if bhav is manifesting in some personality, that means prema is coming soon, right? Hmm. So bhav is very much close to prema, but it is not prema. Srila Rupa Goswami says it's not prema. It is very close to prema. Huh? Why? Just think about it. Let's say the sun has begun to rise in the sky. You can see little bit of sunlight also. But after some time, it may happen that the sun has become covered by the clouds. Though the sun has risen, but still the sun is covered by the clouds. And then you may not see the sun, isn't it? Which means someone has come to the stage of bhava, there is a possibility that at this stage also one's bhakti may become covered. And covered because of what? Covered because of offenses, aparadha. Hmm? Because of aparadha, one's bhakti may get covered. And then the sun of prema may not rise, may not come out. Hmm? Therefore, he compares bhava to the sunlight, sun ray, and he says this is different from prema, which means from bhava also there is a step ahead. At the stage of prema, one can never commit any offenses. Not possible. At the level of prema, there is no possibility of committing offenses at the feet of the Supreme Lord. It's not possible at all. Hmm? But in bhava, there is a possibility. Why? Because that person has not become completely purified. Hmm? Their prema means the person is completely purified. So here, um, bhava bhakti is described very nicely by Rupa Goswami. We will look at the Sanskrit Sanskrit verse also, which explains bhava bhakti. So for that, we go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 22, Madhya Leela. Yes, sorry, chapter 23, Madhya Leela. We go to chapter 23, verse number 5. Now, you can look at this verse. शुद्ध सत्व विशेषात्मा प्रेम सूर्यांशु साम्य भाग रुचिभिश्चित्तमश्रिण्य कृत asabhava uchyate. So this is the definition of bhava. What it is? It is Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma. Shuddha Sattva means pure goodness. Huh? Shuddha Sattva means pure goodness. That means a person has become transcendental to three modes. Shuddha Sattva. A person has become transcendental to three modes. Hmm? Visheshatma. So one whose nature is distinguished by Shuddha Sattva, that personality is situated in pure goodness. That person has become transcendental to three modes. Prema Surya Anshu Samya Bhak. And which is similar to what? It is similar to a ray. Anshu means ray. A ray of the Surya, the sun of Prema. Hmm. Fine. Ruchibhish Chittamasrinya Krit Aso Bhava Uchyate. And then what happens? Ruchibhihi, that person develops different tastes. Chitta masrinya, the chitta, the heart of that personality has become very soft. Krit asau, bhava uchyate. So that emotion is called bhav. So what is bhav? It's that emotion which softens the heart, first of all. Second, which develops different tastes in the heart, and which is like the pure goodness. Hmm? That is bhava. Fine. So when we discussed previously the definition of Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service, we looked at two things. One is Swarupa Lakshana and the other is Tatastha Lakshana, primary characteristic and secondary characteristic, right? Hmm? So similarly, even Bhava Bhakti has these two subjects, primary characteristic and secondary characteristic. Mm. Even prema has these two, primary and secondary. So what is primary characteristic of bhava bhakti? The primary characteristic is shuddha sattva visheshatma. Mm. The essence of this bhav is two potencies of Krishna completely start manifesting in the person. What are those two potencies? Samvit potency and Haladini potency. Samvit and Haladini. These two potencies completely manifest in that person's consciousness. That means that person has complete manifestation of knowledge and bliss. Ananda and Jnana. Right? These two potencies, they manifest completely. So this is primary characteristic of Bhava Bhakti, also known as Swarupa Lakshana. Hmm? Fine. Uh, if I sow a seed of any plant in the soil, then that seed needs the touch of sunlight to sprout. If the seed does not get sunlight, the seed is not going to sprout into a plant. Hmm? Similarly, love of God or prema is in the heart of all the living entities. But for that prema to begin to flourish, there needs a contact with the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. That internal potency of the Supreme Lord is also known as Chitta Shakti, coming from the spiritual world. So, when does Bhava manifest? Bhava manifests when the internal potency of the Lord, Chitta Shakti, starts acting in the heart of the living entity. So, basically, it's a manifestation of Krishna's mercy. When special potency from the spiritual world enters into the heart of the living entity begins to experience bhava. This bhava is different from the mundane emotions that we feel. Hmm? We all experience material emotions, mundane emotions, but that is different from this bhava. This bhava manifests when the internal potency of the Supreme Lord enters into the consciousness of the living entity. Hmm? Okay, internal potency, Chitta Shakti. Then there is manifestation of Samvit and Haladini. So, Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, uh, this then will soften the heart of the devotee, and the devotee will have three desires. What are those three desires? First of all, a strong desire to attain Krishna. Second, a strong desire to please Krishna. And third, a strong desire to become friendly with Krishna. These three desires will develop. What are those three desires?
Not desire to attain Krishna and
To please Krishna
to please Krishna and to friendly with Krishna.
and to be friendly with Krishna. Huh? So this is bhava. Okay, so that's bhava. Hmm? ecstatic love. By the process of executing regulated devotional service, which means sadhana bhakti, one is actually elevated to the transcendental stage. Transcendental stage means one will come to the platform of pure goodness, beyond the material modes of nature. At that time, one's heart becomes illuminated like the sun. Hmm? One's heart becomes illuminated like the sun. The sun is far above the planetary systems, and there is no possibility of its being covered by any kind of cloud. Similarly, when a devotee is purified like the sun from his pure heart, there is a diffusion of ecstatic love which is more glorious than the sunshine. Only at that time is the attachment to Krishna perfect. Spontaneously, the devotee becomes eager to serve the Lord in his ecstatic love. At this stage, the devotee is on the platform of Uttam Adhikari, perfect devotion. Such a devotion has no agitation from material affections and is interested only in the service of Radha and Krishna. So, when we were discussing sadhana bhakti, we looked at the definition and understood that the goal of sadhana bhakti, sadhya, is to get bhava bhakti. Hmm? Bhava bhakti means ecstatic love for Krishna, devotional love for Krishna. Here it's very clearly explained that um, at that stage one is transcendental, beyond the three modes of material nature. But then this transcendental stage can come by practicing sadhana bhakti. Mhm. Only at that time, attachment to Krishna is perfect. Before that, one may have attachment to Krishna, but that is not real attachment to Krishna. That is called shadow attachment. Hmm? Uh, Bhava abhas, not real attachment. At this stage, the devotee is on the platform Uttamadhikari, when one has actually reached the stage of Bhava Bhakti, right? Um, Further, Prabhupada says, to clarify, in the previous chapters, the symptoms of devotional service were explained, along with instructions as to how we may execute devotional service with our present senses and gradually rise to the platform of ecstasy in spontaneous love. In the previous chapters, what was explained? We were told how to execute devotional service with our present senses and gradually rise to the platform of ecstasy in spontaneous love. And the two kinds of devotional service, namely devotional service through regulative principles, which is Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti, and through spontaneous love, which is Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti, were discussed. Within the stage of the regulative principles of devotional service, there are two divisions, namely executive and effective. Fine. So, what are these two things when Prabhupada says executive and effective? This effective portion of devotional service is called bhava or ecstasy. So, executive means sadhana bhakti, effective devotional service means bhava bhakti. Hmm, fine. In this connection, there is a statement in the Tantras that ecstasy is the first symptom of pure love for the personality of Godhead. And in that stage, one is sometimes found shedding tears or shivering. Not always are these symptoms manifest, but occasionally. When King Ambarish was put into difficulty by Durvasa, he began to think of the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus there were some changes in his body, and tears were falling from his eyes. These symptoms are activities of ecstasy. They are visible in the shivering of the body and the shedding of tears. After the outward appearance of these ecstatic symptoms, they stay within the mind, and continuation of the ecstasy is called samadhi. This stage of appreciation becomes the cause of future exchanges of loving affairs with Krishna. Hmm. So, what happens when these symptoms manifest, like shivering of the body, shedding of tears? After the outward appearance of the symptoms, they stay within the mind. Hmm? They stay within the mind. We are not discussing these subject matters in detail here. That comes in the later section of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So these symptoms are known as Ashta Sattvic Vikar, shivering of the body, shedding of tears. These are the transformations that appear in the body. And once these transformations appear in the body, what happens is the mind the mind becomes completely absorbed in a certain transcendental feeling for Krishna. That absorption of the mind in that specific feeling for Krishna is called samadhi. Mm. That is ecstasy, or it's called samadhi. Mm. Fine. This state of appreciation becomes the cause of future exchanges of loving affairs with Krishna. So please try to understand. Just like, let's say the sun is going to rise. Before the sun rises in the sky, you'll begin to see the sunlight. When you begin to see the sunlight, then it's like a message that the sun is coming. Mhm. Similarly, when bhava manifests in the heart of the jiva, prema is going to come soon. And when prema is going to come soon, along with prema, what will come? What is prema? Prema is Krishna himself. Krishna is coming with his entire internal potency. That is prema. Hmm? So when Krishna is going to come, so that devotee, bhava is manifesting in the heart of that devotee. That means soon Krishna is going to manifest in the heart of that devotee. Hmm? The son of Krishna is going to manifest. Ah. And when Krishna is going to manifest, that means Krishna's pastimes are going to manifest. Krishna's qualities are going to manifest. Mm. So, when those characteristics, pastimes of Krishna will manifest, then this devotee will also get a chance to participate in that pastime of Krishna. Mm. And then that will develop to that devotee's development of certain rasa. So when the real bhava develops, we'll discuss later, there is also something which is artificial bhava, artificial emotion. Yeah. Or there is a shadow of bhava. Hmm. So when a shadow of bhava will develop or artificial bhava is shown, the sun is not going to come. The sun of prema is not going to come. Hmm. Isn't it? And because of that, that person will not get an experience of Krishna. That person may cry tears. That one may say that person is experiencing bhava. That person is crying tears. That person is having shivering of body and all that. But then, if that is not real bhava, then what will happen? It will stay till that experience only. There will not be further development of that experience. But when real bhava develops in the person's heart, then after bhava, soon there is a manifestation of Krishna. So here is explained. First, there will be symptom like shivering of body. Then there will be shedding of tears. But what will happen after that? Prabhupada writes, after the outward appearance of these ecstatic symptoms, they stay within the mind. Huh? That Chitta Shakti, internal potency of Krishna, which has come from the spiritual world, is going to still stay within the mind of the jiva. And then what will happen? The continuation of that ecstasy is called samadhi. In that stage of appreciation, uh, one further develops loving affair with Krishna. You know? Okay. So, how can bhava appear or how can bhava manifest? So, bhava can manifest in two ways. One is by sadhana, another is by mercy of Krishna or his devotee. Hmm? So, there are two ways of manifestation of bhava. Hmm? Fine. Uh, Elevation to this stage of ecstasy can be possible in two ways. One way is by constant association with pure devotees. That means in association of pure devotee, you engage in sadhana bhakti. Hmm? Constant association of pure devotees means in that association you engage in sadhana bhakti. So if you constantly engage in sadhana bhakti in the association of pure devotees, then this bhava may manifest, right? Hmm? And another is by the mercy of special mercy of Krishna or by the mercy of pure devotee of Krishna. So the first one is the normal way of achieving bhava bhakti, and the second one is a rare way, very rare. Very rarely one can achieve bhava by the mercy of Krishna, completely by mercy of Krishna. That is very rare. Mhm. Right? So the first is the normal way, and the second one is the rare way of achieving mercy of Krishna. Uh, Elevation to the ecstatic stage of life is generally attained through association with pure devotees, while elevation to that stage by the mercy of special mercy of Krishna or his devotees is very rare. The purport is that one should execute devotional service rigidly in the association of devotees so that there will be certainty in raising oneself to that ecstatic position. In special cases, of course, there is special favor from Krishna, and although we should always expect that, we should not sit idly and simply wait for Krishna's special mercy. The regular duties must be performed. It is just as when sometimes it is found that a person who never attended school or college may be recognized as a great scholar, or an honorary degree from great universities may be offered to him. But this does not mean that one should avoid school and expect to automatically receive an honorary degree from some university. Similarly, one should devoutly execute the regulative principles of devotional service and at the same time hope for Krishna's favor or for his devotees' favor. Huh? Right? So there are two ways of developing bhava. One is by executing sadhan bhakti very rigidly and the association of pure devotees of Krishna. That is constant engagement in sadhan bhakti. And another is by special mercy of Krishna or his pure devotee. The second case is rare. One may expect for that, one may pray for that, but still, the normal course is one should execute sadhan bhakti very nicely and then wait for Krishna's mercy or depend on Krishna's mercy. Right? Now, further examples are given. So when it says that you can come to bhava by doing sadhana, then we know sadhana is of two types, Vaidhi sadhana and Raganuga sadhana. So bhava can develop from Vaidhi sadhana also. Bhava can develop from Raganuga sadhana also. Fine. Hmm? Vaidhi sadhana can also lead it to bhava. Raganuga sadhana also can lead into bhava. So Vaidhi sadhana, when it leads into bhava, example is Narad Muni. Example is given here. Let's read this paragraph. Shamala Hariprada Mataji, please read this.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam Prabhu. An example of rising to the stage of ecstatic love by executing the regulative principles of devotional service is given in the life story of Narada, which is described to Vyasadeva in Srimad Bhagavatam. Narada tells there of his previous life and how he developed to the stage of ecta- ecstatic love. He was engaged in the service of great devotees and used to hear their talks and songs. Because he had the opportunity to hear these pastimes and songs of Krishna from the mouths of the pure devotees, he became very attracted within his heart because he had become so eager to hear these topics. He gradually developed within himself an ecstatic love for Krishna. This ecstatic love is prior to the love for Krishna, pure love of Krishna. Because in the next verse, Narada confirms that by the gradual process of hearing from the great sages, he developed love of Godhead. In that connection, Narada continues to say in the first canto, fifth chapter, verse 28 of Bhagavatam, first, I passed my days in the association of the great sages during the rainy autumn season. Every morning and evening, I heard them while they were singing and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and thus my heart gradually became purified. As soon as I heard them with great attention, the influence of the modes of material ignorance and passion disappeared, and I became firmly fixed in devotional service to the Lord. These are practical examples of how one can develop to the stage of ecstatic love simply by the association of pure devotees. It is essential, therefore, that one constantly associate with pure devotees who are engaged morning and evening in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. In this way, one will get the chance to purify his heart and develop this ecstatic pure love for Krishna. This statement
Mm.
is okay, Prabhu. Shall I stop or
Yes,
continue?
yes, yes. Continue.
This statement is also confirmed in the third canto, 25th chapter, verse 25 of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Kapila says, my dear mother, when a person is actually in association with pure devotees, the sublime potency of my devotional service can be experienced. In other words, when a pure devotee speaks, his words act upon the hearts of the audience. What is the secret of hearing and chanting? A professional speaker cannot impress transcendental ecstasy within the
Mm.
heart of the listeners. However, when a realized soul who is engaged in the service of the Lord is speaking, he has the potency to inject spiritual life within the audience. One should therefore seek the association of such pure, unalloyed devotees, and by such association and service, a neophyte devotee will certainly develop attachment, love, and devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Padma Purana, there
Thank
is
you,
the
Mataji.
okay.
So these three paragraphs, there is description of how through Vaidhi sadhan bhakti, one can come to the stage of bhava. Example is of Narada. He heard from Bhakti Vedantas, developed bhava bhakti by association of those Bhakti Vedantas. And then substantiating that experience of Narada boy uh, through the process of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from a pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada is quoting, Rupa Goswami is quoting Lord Kapila, who says that uh, when a person is actually in association with pure devotees, the sublime potency of my devotional service can be experienced. Hmm? So Prabhupada is saying here, what is the secret of hearing and chanting? A professional speaker cannot impress transcendental ecstasy within the hearts of the listeners. However, when a realized soul who is engaged in the service of the Lord is speaking, he has the potency to inject spiritual life within the audience. Huh? So that is possible by a self-realized soul. Just by hearing from self-realized souls, one can come to the stage of bhava bhakti. Hmm? That is possible if one does that activity of hearing nicely. Next is from Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti, how one can come to Bhava Bhakti. In the Padma Purana, there is a story of a neophyte devotee who, in order to raise herself to the ecstatic platform, danced all night to invoke the Lord's grace upon her. Sometimes, however, it is found that without undergoing any devotional service or process, one all of a sudden develops devotion for Lord Krishna. This sudden development of the devotional attitude in a person must be understood as the special mercy of Krishna or his devotee. This apparently accidental development of ecstatic feelings through the causeless of mercy of Krishna can be divided into three groups: simply by speaking, simply by glancing, and simply by good wishes. In the Narada Purana, there is a statement about development of ecstatic love simply by speaking. Lord Krishna said to Narada, O best of the Brahmanas, I wish that you may develop unalloyed devotional service to me, which is full of transcendental bliss and all auspiciousness. Hmm. In the Skanda Purana, there is a statement about developing ecstatic love towards Krishna simply by glancing. It is stated there, when the inhabitants of Jangala province saw the personality of Goddess Krishna, they were so stricken with feeling that they could not withdraw their glance from him. Hmm. As far as heartfelt wishes are concerned, there is a statement in the Shuka Samhita where Narada tells Srila Vyasadeva, you have a son who is the greatest devotee of the personality of Godhead. I can observe that without any following of the regulative principles of devotional service, he is already enriched with many of the symptoms achieved by the execution of devotional service after many, many births. Hmm. So these are examples of how by speaking, by glancing, or by wishing of Krishna, one can come immediately to the platform of Bhava Bhakti. Hmm. Okay. Next paragraph. Shridi Prabhu, as for ecstatic love of Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. As for ecstatic love of Krishna, there is a statement in the seventh canto, fourth chapter, verse 36 of Srimad Bhagavatam, in which Narad addresses King Yudhishthir. My dear king, it is very difficult to describe the character of Prahlad. He developed a natural attraction for Krishna, and whatever I can explain about his character will simply be an arrangement of words. His actual character is impossible to describe. This means that Narada himself admitted that the natural development of Prahlad's ecstatic love was by the grace of Lord Krishna. This natural attraction for Krishna on the part of Prahlad was developed simply by the mercy of Narada. When Maharaj Prahlad was within the womb of his mother, she was being sympathetically instructed by Narad about the science of devotional service. And at the same time, Narada was wishing that the child within the womb could also take advantage of the instructions. Because Narada, an authorized devotee and great associate of the personality of Godhead, was desiring auspiciousness for Prahlad Maharaj, he developed all the characteristics of a high grade devotee. This is called natural attraction. It is caused by the special grace of the personality of Godhead or by the special grace of a great devotee like Narada. There is a statement in the Skanda Puran wherein Paravat Muni tells Narada, my dear Narada, of all saintly persons, you are so great and glorious that simply by your good wishes, a low-born hunter also has become a great elevated devotee of Lord Krishna. This ecstatic love for Krishna can be divided into five divisions, which will be described by Srila Rupa Goswami later.
Yes. So, example is Krishna spoke to Narada, and because of that, Narada developed Bhava Bhakti. When did this happen? When Narada was meditating on the Supreme Lord sitting in the forest all by himself below a specific tree, and he got a glimpse of the Lord in the heart, the Paramatma. And after that, he tried to again capture that glimpse of Krishna, but Krishna didn't show. So then Narada was trying again and again, and then he became frustrated that I'm trying very hard, but I'm not able to, um, see Krishna. Then he heard a voice from the sky, right? He heard a voice from the sky. So in that voice, he was told that because still you have some impurities left in you, you are not able to see me again in this body. But once you leave this body, you take birth again, then you'll be able to always see me. So that voice, when he heard that voice of the Lord, that developed sentiments of bhava in that boy, Narada. Mm. So that is one example. Then by good wishes. So here example is given. Narada, he wished that this boy in the womb of Kayadu, the wife of Hiranyakashipu, should become a great devotee of the Lord. And that's how Prahlad developed such ecstatic symptoms towards the Supreme Lord. Mm. Then Narada also wished for his disciple Mrigari, the hunter, that let him become a devotee. So he became. So these examples are there that if a pure devotee of Krishna wishes that let this devotee get bhava bhakti or let this devotee get prema bhakti, then just by such good wishes also one may get. Hmm? It's possible. Right? So that is but rare case. These are rare cases by mercy. Rare cases of getting bhava bhakti. Fine. Any questions from this chapter? Then there are five types of bhava which will be described later based on the five types of rasas. So what is understood by you by the term bhava? What is bhava? Hmm?
It appears before prema and is indicative of the arising of prema within the heart of the
Yes,
devotee.
yes. So, but what is the general meaning of the word bhava?
Emotions.
Feelings, emotions. But does that meaning apply here? Does that meaning apply here? No, it doesn't apply here. It doesn't apply here. Hmm? So you see, one thing very important for us to understand is the word bhava is a normal word. When I read the word bhava, I will try to understand this word as per my previous understanding of the word bhava. Hmm? Like for example, if we are speaking in English language, and then I tell you when you will have feelings for Krishna or loving feelings for Krishna. Okay. So now, in your experience in this world, you had loving feelings for someone, right? That someone maybe was your parent or your child or your spouse or your friend. So you have some experience of loving feeling, correct? Isn't it? Hmm. So when you read or you hear, when you will have loving feelings for Krishna, so how does your mind or how does your intelligence capture this statement and understand this statement? Loving feelings. I know something about loving feelings because I had loving feelings for my son. I had loving feelings for my spouse. I had loving feelings for my parents. So I need to have similar loving feelings for Krishna. No. So when you read such a statement or hear such a statement, you say, "Oh, very easy. I understand. I understand. When I have loving feelings for Krishna, I understand." Mm. Similarly, in our day-to-day conversations, dialogue, we may use the word bhava. So we have a certain understanding of the word bhava. Here, when the word bhava bhakti comes, then I understand what is bhava bhakti. I mean, I should have some feelings for Krishna. When I'm offering bhoga to Krishna, I should have some feelings. When I'm chanting the name of Krishna, I should have feelings. Then I'm having bhava. Srila Rupa Goswami is therefore giving us a definition of what bhava is. Hmm? The word bhava used here is a very loaded word. Loaded means it is coming with very strong, clear definition of what it means. It doesn't just mean feeling. It doesn't just mean emotion. It doesn't just mean, right? It means what? It means three things. First, it is basically a mixture of samvit potency and haladini potency. Right? It's a mixture of these two potencies. And when these potencies, they enter the chitta, the heart, the hridaya of the practicing sadhaka or the living entity, then these potencies, they create a softness in the heart. Hmm. Right? And it prepares the heart to experience rasa with Krishna. So that experience is called bhava bhakti. Now, if Srila Prabhupada is telling in his lecture, if you have bhava for Krishna, then what is the meaning of that bhava? If he's saying, if you have some feeling for Krishna, what is the meaning of that word feeling? Not what I think as per my dictionary understanding. The feeling that I have for my son, for my spouse, for my parent, for my friend. No, not that. When he's saying, when you have bhava for Krishna, so then that bhava, the word is loaded with this definition. So most of the people who read the Shastra or study the Shastra, but they don't do it under the guidance of a pure devotee of Krishna, self-realized soul, they take the superficial meaning of the words and they understand it in that way. But that is not how it is. So that is not bhava, what I understand in general, what you understand in general. That is not bhava. When Prabhupada is telling bhava, and Rupa Goswami is telling bhava, when Krishna is telling the word bhava in Bhagavad Gita, that's not the meaning. But in general, a person will understand it in that way and also will explain it in that way. So one has to very properly comprehend these subject matters. Srila Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that the experience of transcendental spiritual emotions is a very rare achievement. It's not an ordinary thing, right? And what we experience, even while we practice Krishna consciousness, that is only a semblance of the actual rasa or actual bhava. Semblance means it only looks like that. It is not really that. Why? Because here it is said, if bhava has manifested in you, what will happen? The sun will also rise soon. And which sun will rise? The sun of Prema or sun of Krishna will rise soon. And if that sun rises, there are three things that should happen. A very strong desire to attain Krishna, a very strong desire to please Krishna, and a very strong desire to be very close to Krishna, very intimate with Krishna. So if you look at Srila Prabhupada's life, we have read Leelamrita, we have heard about Srila Prabhupada. Let's say we don't know if Srila Prabhupada is, of course we know, but let's say we don't know if Srila Prabhupada is at the level of prema or not. Let's say we don't know, right? But if you look at the life of Srila Prabhupada, through his activities, through his emotions, through his conduct, through his speech, do you find these three desires in him very strongly? The desire to please Krishna, right? The desire to attain Krishna, and the desire to do something wonderful for Krishna, to be very close to Krishna. Right? You see that. You see those three things, right? So that is a manifestation of bhava. Now, someone else may also be crying. Some other devotee we may see also crying tears. But then, is that devotee having these three desires, very strong desires? Maybe, may not be. So then that is not bhava, if not. But if you look at the life of actual great souls, then these three desires will also manifest at the manifestation of bhava. Mhm. Strong desire to please Krishna, strong desire to attain Krishna, and to do something to be very close to Krishna. So that person is then acting at the level of ecstatic emotion, bhava. Okay. Fine. Any questions from this chapter before we go to the next chapter?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Why they can lead into the bhava? Example, Narada Muni. Is there any example for Raganuga can lead to bhava? Is there any example for
Given
the?
no example, given we read some lady who wanted to please Krishna, so she danced whole night in order to please Krishna.
What's name?
That paragraph came. I told that this paragraph is an example for. In the Padma Purana, there is a story of a neophyte devotee who, in order to raise herself to the ecstatic platform, danced all night to invoke the Lord's grace upon her.
There is no name.
Name is not given here. In Padma Purana, that name is Chandrakanti.
Oh.
So there is an example like that.
Okay. And you said shadow attachment. Is there? It is only for bhava. It's there for all the stages. Shadow, it will be there, no? Shadow attachment, bhava, bhas. You said that shadow thing. It will be
Yes,
not.
Bhava Bhas can come at any stage. There is no stage for Bhava Bhas. Shadow, ecstatic emotions. That can come in someone very new also.
Okay.
That has no stage. Because that is just, there are two types we will be discussing. So that is just basically a semblance. It's not actual.
Thank you.
Fine. So that may come at any stage. But that should not be confused as real Bhava.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Vrindarani Mataji.
Hare Krishna, my obeisances. Which are offenses then that a person on bhava level can commit that can cover one's bhava?
Offenses can be of any type, Mataji. But it can be of any type. There are different types of offenses. So any type of offense one may commit. One may commit Vaishnava Aparadh. Then also Bhava Bhakti will become covered. It's possible. So one may commit Vaishnava Aparadh. Then Bhava will get covered.
So if that person becomes aware and somehow apologize, or it
Yes.
can progress further.
Yes. If that person becomes aware and that person seeks forgiveness from the Vaishnava offended by him or her and serves that Vaishnava, then slowly those clouds covering the consciousness will disappear.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question? So these subject matters which we are discussing, yeah, it requires very thorough comprehension. You should think about these definitions, meditate on them. Then you'll get a certain glimpse of what Srila Rupa Goswami is trying to explain. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, he didn't discuss these subject matters much because to understand this subject matter, our consciousness has to be purified to a certain extent. Hmm? What is bhava? What is prema? Hmm. It is totally different experience from what we get in this material world. Examples are given just to help us get some idea. That's all. But that is not really that thing, what we have experienced. It's not really that thing. Uh, it's a totally different thing, right? So therefore, we need to comprehend these subject matters. And then why we need to comprehend? Not because we are at that stage and we are going to diagnose whether I'm personally at that stage or not. So that when you are associating with sadhus or Vaishnavas, then you don't get cheated, you don't get bluffed, you don't start thinking someone who is not at bhava to be at bhava and think this person is so exalted, so elevated. Because what is real bhava is different. It's not easy to attain, isn't it? So that is a different thing. Like someone may be sitting on the Vyasa asana and speaking Bhagavad Katha, and that person may shed tears. But then, is that bhava or not? We don't know. You know, because sometimes people singing mundane cinema songs also start crying. So crying cannot be a symptom, because sometimes, you may be very happy that 5,000 people are sitting and listening to you. That's why maybe you're crying. You don't know why you are crying. Why someone is crying. You can't say, isn't it? Sometimes, for example, a child has been first time given a chance. You speak in the auditorium to the assembly of 1,000 students, and then that child might be so excited, and that child may start crying. First time, because they applauded, they clapped. That child may feel very happy, and that child is crying. So someone is sitting on the asana and doing Bhagavad Gita, and 5,000 people are listening, and that person may, because of that happiness, he or she may cry. You can say this is bhava, this ecstatic emotion for Krishna. Mm. So bhava is, we have to understand very thoroughly these subject matters and then associate with genuine sadhus to get the genuine experience of spiritual emotions. Mm. Right? Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to speak very strongly about it, that don't uh, don't go for the false thing, go for the real thing, the genuine thing. And what is genuine will not be easily attained also, isn't it? What is genuine will not be easily attained also. If it was so easy, why the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas will take so much pain to write so many scriptures describing and defining, isn't it? Why Rupa Goswami has to take the trouble to explain what is Bhava Bhakti? If it is so easily attained and can be attained by anyone, why he has to describe? There's no need to describe, no need to explain. Hmm. So we have to very nicely understand all these things. Okay. Uh, uh, hmm. Next chapter then, chapter 18, character of ecstatic love. So, how do we know what are the symptoms of someone in Bhava Bhakti? That is explained here. Visible symptoms. So 9 characteristics are there. Fine. And if you see these symptoms in someone, then that person has some sort of bhava, right? Something is there. Bhava is there. And this you can see in many of our present ISKCON gurus also, or uh, devotees who are practicing since long time. You'll see these characteristics. So these foolish Ritvik people, they are simply making sound, making noise, But if they study properly the books written by Srila Prabhupada or previous acharyas, and they look for the substance, then they'll see the substance. The substance is there in many followers of Prabhupada. You can see the symptoms of bhava bhakti in them. Rupa Goswami next describes the characteristics of a person who has actually developed his ecstatic love for Krishna. The characteristics are as follows. First, he is always anxious to utilize his time in the devotional service of the Lord, which means that person is not wasting time. He does not like to be idle. He wants service always, 24 hours a day without deviation. Yeah. So you see this quality. In whom? In those who have Bhava Bhakti. Hmm. Always engaged in service without being idle, not idling out, not wasting time. Or one may be very busy in fulfilling one's own material desires or material duties. But no, that person is without deviation engaged in devotional service always. Or at least wants to engage in devotional service always. 24 hours a day. Hmm. So that is first symptom. Avyartha kalatvam, always engaging in devotional service. So that's bhava bhakti, right? Second, he's always reserved and perseverant. Always reserved and perseverant. Shanti. Very, very hardworking. Perseverant. Very hardworking. Hardworking to please Krishna, to please Guru. And that person has a goal. That person is reserved. Reserved in the sense that person has his or her internal goal, spiritual goal, and is always busy in that. Hmm. Third, he's always detached from all material attraction. Virakti, no attraction to material enjoyment. Fourth, he does not long for any material respect in return for his activities. No recognition is expected. It's very difficult now because some of these qualities may not appear simultaneously. For example, those who are very hardworking, they also have a strong desire for appreciation, acknowledgement. They want name and fame also. Someone who is lazy, that person doesn't care for name and fame. That's why that person is lazy. But someone is working very hard, then that person wants that people should know about me, people should glorify me, people should recognize my hard work, my, you know, my so much of endeavor. So that person, though is engaged always in serving Krishna, pleasing Krishna, that person doesn't want any material respect in return, doesn't want any recognition. Hmm. Five, he's always certain that Krishna will bestow his mercy upon him. That person has strong hope and confidence that Krishna will be merciful. That person doesn't lose hope, is not despondent. I've been serving Krishna for so many years. No, that despondency is not there. Right. Next, he is always very eager to serve the Lord faithfully. Always very eager to serve the Lord, very faithfully. Very eager for service. He is very much attached to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Nowadays, why I'm saying so, because since the COVID has come, bhakti has become very popular, amongst the common masses. And Vrindavan, Bhakti, so many things have become very popular. But still, we see that um, when it comes to chanting the holy name of the Lord, or attachment to chanting of the holy name of the Lord, that is not so much spoken about, or it is spoken uh, in a very whimsical manner, not in an authoritative manner. You know? So the devotees who are actually advanced in Krishna consciousness will have great attachment to the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Great attachment to the chanting of the holy name. Hmm? So we see that in the life of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was personally chanting. He started Nagar Sankirtan, congregational chanting, very attached to the process of holy name. Hmm? Uh, he was not so much interested in Bhagavad Kathas or Bhagavad Saptaha, but he was very much interested in chanting and spreading the holy name of Krishna. Hmm. The name, keeping the name as the foundation, right? That also Sankirtana, not Manas Japa or just individual Japa. Sankirtana, congregational chanting of the holy name. Hmm. That is very important. Uh, he's always eager to describe the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Namagane Sadaruchi Asakti Stat Gunakhyane. Not just interested to describe the qualities of the Lord when sitting on the Vyasasana. Always eager to describe the qualities of the Lord. Hmm. And then he is very pleased to live in a place where the Lord's pastimes are performed. Mathura, Vrindavan or Dwaraka. So these are the characteristics of someone engaged in Bhava Bhakti. Right? Prabhupada also explains it can also be a place where Krishna Seva is continuously happening, which means that person is very pleased to live in a place where devotional service is always happening. You know? So these are 9 characteristics of Bhava Bhakti.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I ask a question?
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, do we have to be engaged in Bhava Bhakti or should it come automatically after?
We have to be engaged in sadhan bhakti, Mataji. There's nothing like engaging in bhava bhakti. One has to engage oneself in sadhana bhakti. When bhava will manifest in the heart, then because of the manifestation of bhava, the bhakti you do, that is called bhava bhakti. You know, bhakti done with bhava is called bhava bhakti. So for doing bhava bhakti, first bhava has to manifest. And that is manifested only in 2 ways. One, either you do sadhan bhakti constantly in the association of pure devotees, you rise from, mode of tamogun, rajogun to sattvagun, and from sattvagun to shuddha sattva, and then bhava will manifest. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mam chayope vicharena bhakti yogena sevati sa gunan samatitya tan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Or some pure devotee or Krishna has mercy upon you, and suddenly bhava manifests in you. Right? Then when bhava will manifest, then when you do bhakti in that bhava, that is called bhava bhakti. Fine. Now, someone may say, when you hear someone saying, you should serve Krishna with some bhava, you should serve Krishna with some feelings. So you should know that is not bhava bhakti. That's not bhava bhakti. That's not bhava. That is just normal instruction, actually. Normal instruction. What normal instruction? You serve Krishna with some feelings because your heart is very dry. Just like in the present day scenario, even the normal relationships that we have started becoming very dry. Parents don't have emotions for their children. Children don't have emotions for their parents. So in general, what will you tell such a parent or such a child? Please serve your child, please serve your parent with some feelings. You know? So that's how, someone may tell you, serve Krishna with some feelings. That doesn't mean, okay, serve Krishna with bhava bhakti. Just serve Krishna with some feelings. Don't treat Krishna as a statue, as a stone. Be little personal. Mhm. So that's how, because our level is very low in the sense we are very unqualified. So when we are given instruction like that, you serve with some feelings, we think, okay, this guru is teaching about Bhava Bhakti. No, 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 this is not Bhava Bhakti. This is normal sadhana bhakti only. But you serve Krishna with some feelings. The problem is our quality is very low. So we have to first come to little normal you know, of heart. And for that, these instructions are given to us. Normal instructions, basically. So Bhava Bhakti cannot be practiced, Mataji. When Bhava will come, then whatever Bhakti you do with that Bhava, that's called Bhava Bhakti. And that Bhava will come in two ways. One is by mercy, and the other is by strong sadhana in association of pure devotees of Krishna. And the easiest way of developing that association with pure devotee of Krishna is you hear from them. Constantly hear from them. So it all comes down to Shravanam. Right. Comes to Shravanam. Hear from whom? Hear from those who have genuine devotion towards Krishna. Hear from them. Okay. Next chapter. Let's go to the next paragraph. Utilization of time. So first quality. An unalloyed devotee who has developed ecstatic love for Krishna is always engaging his words in reciting prayers to the Lord. Within the mind is always thinking of Krishna. And with his body he either offers obeisances by bowing down before the deity or engages in some other service. During these ecstatic activities, he sometimes shed tears. In this way, his whole life is engaged in the service of the Lord, with not a moment wasted on any other engagement. Perseverance. When a person is undisturbed, even in the presence of various causes of disturbance, he is called reserved and perseverant. An example of this perseverance and reservation is found in the behavior of King Parikshit, as described in the first canto, 19th chapter, verse 15 of Srimad Bhagavatam. The king says there to all the sages present before him at the time of his death, "My dear Brahmanas, you should always accept me as your surrendered servant. I have come to the bank of the Ganges just to devote my heart and soul unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So please bless me that Mother Ganges may also be pleased with me. Let the curse of the Brahmana's son fall upon me. I do not mind. I only request that at the last moment of my life, all of you will kindly chant the holy name of Vishnu so that I may realize his transcendental qualities. This example of Maharaj Parikshit's behavior, his remaining patient, even at the last point of his life, his undisturbed condition of mind, is an example of reservation. This is one of the characteristics of a devotee who has developed ecstatic love for Krishna. Hmm. That person is very perseverant, very hardworking. That means that person, that devotee, is not so much or so easily affected by problems in life. The goal is very clear, to please Krishna. Hmm. So, next, detachment. The senses are always desiring sense enjoyment. But when a devotee develops transcendental love for Krishna, his senses are no longer attracted by material desires. This state of mind is called detachment. There is a nice example of this detachment in connection with the character of King Bharata. In the fifth canto, 14th chapter, verse 43 of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Emperor Bharata was so attracted by the beauty of the lotus feet of Krishna that even in his youthful life, he gave up all kinds of attachments to family, children, friends, kingdom, etc., as though they were untouchable stools. Emperor Bharata provides a typical example of detachment. He had everything enjoyable in the material world, but he left it. This means that detachment does not mean artificially keeping oneself aloof and apart from the allurements of attachment. Even in the presence of such attachments or allurements, if one can remain unattracted by material attachments, he is called detached. In the beginning, of course, a neophyte devotee must try to keep himself apart from all kinds of alluring attachments. But the real position of a mature devotee is that even in the presence of all allurements, he is not at all attracted. This is the actual criterion of detachment. Pridelessness. When a devotee, in spite of possessing all the qualities of pure realization, is not proud of his position, he is called prideless. In the Padma Purana, it is stated that King Bhagirath was the emperor of all other kings. Yet he developed such ecstatic love for Krishna that he became a mendicant and went out begging even to the homes of his political enemies and untouchables. He was so humble that he respectfully bowed down before them. There are many similar instances in the history of India. Even very recently, about 200 years ago or less, one big landlord known as Lal Babu, a Calcutta landholder, became a Vaishnava and lived in Vrindavan. He was also begging from door to door, even at the homes of his political enemies. Begging involves being ready to be insulted by persons to whose home one has come. That is natural. But one has to tolerate such insults for the sake of Krishna. The devotee of Krishna can accept any position in the service of Krishna. A devotee is prideless. Huh? A few days ago, I was just thinking on this incident. See, if you look at the position of Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, he is not an ordinary personality. He is also not an ordinary pure devotee of Krishna. He is certainly a great personality empowered by the Supreme Lord to achieve great um, success in the process of propagating Krishna consciousness, right? Hmm. So now the whole world knows about A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. But Srila Prabhupada, when he was present on this planet, in his preaching mission, he was approaching anyone and everyone asking for help. Give me money, give me support, give me this, give me that, in order to spread Krishna consciousness. You know. If you look at his position in the spiritual world, very dear to Krishna. Krishna is the master of Lakshmi. So if he is the owner of Lakshmi, why would his dear devotees or servants have any scarcity of Lakshmi? They will also not have. They should not have, But in the earthly pastimes or in the earthly activities, we see that Srila Prabhupada went through so much of hardships, monetary hardships, financial problems, right? And he did not hesitate to ask people for help. He went to people, he would ask for help. In different ways, he would ask for help, isn't it? That means coming down from a very elevated position to a low position, becoming a beggar, asking people, give some Lakshmi for printing books, give some Lakshmi for this, give some Lakshmi for that, that means no pride, pridelessness. Isn't it? Srila Prabhupada, he wanted to print Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. He did not have money. Someone told him, go to Hanuman Prasad Poddar. Hanuman Prasad Poddar was also a great personality, very famous, renowned Vaishnava, isn't it? And in spiritual circles, he was also quite known, exalted, elevated personality. Srila Prabhupada did not have the pride. Why should I go and ask him for money? He needed money. He went. I need Lakshmi for printing Srimad Bhagavatam. Can you please help? And Hanuman Prasad Poddar gave. Now, uh, please kindly think about it. If Prabhupada is poor and then he's asking for money, one may say, what is the big deal? But still, Prabhupada is not poor. He is a pure devotee of Krishna. If he tells Krishna, Krishna, I need money, Krishna will not arrange. Krishna will arrange. Though in such an exalted position, still coming to the position of a beggar and going to people and asking for money. Please, I need money for serving Krishna. That shows pridelessness. No pride. When did Prabhupada ask money from Hanuman Prasad Poddar? When Prabhupada had already taken sannyas. Right? Isn't it? Now, if you read Prabhupada Lilamrita, long time before Prabhupada took sannyas, when he was in Jhansi, he was just a vanaprasthi, So he met one person there who helped Prabhupada to start the League of Devotees. So that person, it was a Janmashtami day, and Srila Prabhupada was alone in his room. Srila Prabhupada was observing Janmashtami. So I'm forgetting the name of that personality. He came to meet Srila Prabhupada. That time Prabhupada was still known as Abhay Babu. And Prabhupada was wearing a very beautiful, fragrant garland made from flowers of 5 colors, 5 different colors. And he was dancing in ecstasy in his room, singing and dancing. And in ecstasy, he was in ecstasy. So that asked Prabhupada, who gave you this garland? And he said, Krishna came and gave it to me. No. It was Janmashtami day. Krishna came and gave it to me. And he was dancing in ecstasy. So you see, he is someone whom Krishna is coming personally giving a garland and is dancing in ecstasy. But when it is required to ask for money, he's going and begging also, give me money, I want to print books. Pridelessness. No pride of one's exalted position. So, in material terms, we develop pride for small things. I have this, I have that, I have this position, I have that position. This is my identity. This is my authority. This much I can do. This I can do. I'll call this person, and then that person will do anything for me, or I'll show this to the world. But here we can see such exalted personalities. They have no pride of who they are. Right. Next, great hope. The strong conviction that one will certainly receive the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called in Sanskrit Asha Bandha. Asha Bandha means to continue to think. Because I am trying my best to follow the routine principles of devotional service, I am sure that I'll go back to Godhead, back to home. In this connection, one prayer by Rupa Goswami is sufficient to exemplify this hopefulness. He says, I have no love for Krishna, nor for the cause of developing love of Krishna. Huh? So I have no love for Krishna. So someone may say, but you have love for sadhana bhakti. I have no love for sadhana bhakti also. I have no love for hearing and chanting. Hmm. And the process of bhakti yoga, by which one is always thinking of Krishna and fixing his feet, lotus feet in the heart, is also lacking in me. I am also not a good sadhaka. I don't have bhakti yoga also. As far as philosophical knowledge or pious works are concerned, I don't see any opportunity for me to execute such activities. I cannot execute jnana, I cannot execute karma. But above all, I am not even born of a nice family. Therefore, I must simply pray to you, Gopi Janna Vallabha, Krishna, maintainer and beloved of the gopis. I simply wish and hope that some way or other I may be able to approach your lotus feet. And this hope is giving me pain because I think myself quite incompetent to approach that transcendental goal of life. Hmm. The purport is that under this heading of Asha Bandha, one should continue to hope against hope that some way or other he'll be able to approach the lotus feet of the Supreme. Wow. Okay. So this hope should be there. One should not become hopeless. That is very important. In this world, we have this experience of coming across people who work very hard throughout their life just to fulfill a certain desire. Some desire. Just to fulfill that one desire, they work very hard throughout their life. You have come across such people? That person wanted to, let's say, get entrance into a particular university or college. So for 10, 15 years, that person is just struggling and struggling, giving exam again and again, failing, giving exam again, failing, and then still trying to come to that, position. Or some person developed a strong desire, I want to become very rich in this life. So he becomes rich at the age of 67, and at the age of 68, he dies. That also happens, isn't it? But that person still kept the hope that I will become rich. I will become rich. Someday I'll become rich. Mm. So for petty things also in this world, people don't give up hope. Huh? If someone desired good children and that person does not get good children, then that person thinks maybe my grandchildren will be good. So that hope is still there, uh, that they don't give up the desire. Someday we will. So Rupa Goswami is saying that similarly, a sadhaka should never give up the hope that Krishna will be merciful upon me. That hope should always be there. Any situation may come in life. One may become poor, rich, healthy, sick, right? Uh, one may be praised by the devotees, by your loved ones. One may be rejected by the loved ones, or in case of you being a devotee, by the devotees. Anything may happen. Hmm. Anything may happen in your life as a sadhaka. So Rupa Goswami is saying, don't give up hope. Maintain that hope that Krishna will be merciful. Krishna will show his grace upon me. Hmm? So Asha Bandha, always having that hope. Eagerness for achieving the desired success. When one is sufficiently eager to achieve success in devotional service, that eagerness is called samutkantha. This means complete eagerness. Actually, this eagerness is the price for achieving success in Krishna consciousness. Everything has some value and one has to pay the value before obtaining or possessing it. It is stating in the Vedic literature that to purchase the most valuable thing, Krishna consciousness, one has to develop intense eagerness for achieving success. This intense eagerness is very nicely expressed by Bilva Mangal Thakur in his book Krishna Karnamrita. He says, I'm eagerly waiting to see that boy of Vrindavan, whose bodily beauty is captivating the whole universe, whose eyes are always bounded by black eyebrows and expanded like lotus petals, and who is always eagerly glancing over his devotees, and therefore moving slightly here and there. His eyes are always moist, his lips are colored like copper, and through those lips there comes a sound vibration which drives one madder than a mad elephant. I want so much to see him at Vrindavan. Next, attachment to chanting the holy names of the Lord. In the same Krishna Karnamrita, there is another statement about the chanting of Radharani. It is said by one of the associates of Radharani, O Lord Govinda, the girl who is the daughter of King Vishwabhanu is now shedding tears, and she is anxiously chanting your holy name, Krishna, Krishna. Eagerness to describe the Lord's transcendental qualities. Attachment for chanting the glories of the Lord is also expressed in the Krishna Karnamrita as follows. What shall I do for Krishna, who is pleasing beyond all pleasurable conceptions, and who is naughtier than all restless boys? The idea of Krishna's beautiful activities is attracting my heart, and I do not know what I can do. Attraction for living in a place where Krishna has his pastimes. Hmm. Okay. Neha Mataji, please read. Unmute yourself now.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. In the book Padyavali by Rupa Goswami, there is the following statement about Vrindavan. In this place, the son of Maharaj Nanda used to live with his father, who was king of all cowherd men. In this place, Lord Krishna broke the cart in which the Shakatasura demon was concealed. At this place, Damodar, who can cut the knot of our material existence, was tied up by his mother Yashoda. A pure devotee of Lord Krishna resides in the district of Mathura or Vrindavan and visits all the places where Krishna's pastimes were performed. At these sacred places, Krishna displayed his childhood activities with the cowherd boys and Mother Yashoda. The system of circumambulating all these places is still current among devotees of Lord Krishna, and those coming to Mathura and Vrindavan always feel transcendental pleasure. Actually, if someone goes to Vrindavan, he will immediately feel separation from Krishna, who performed such nice activities when he was present there. Such attraction for remembering Krishna's activities is known as attachment for Krishna. There are impersonalist philosophers and mystics, however, who, by a show of devotional service, want ultimately to merge into the existence of the Supreme Lord. They sometimes try to imitate a pure devotee's sentiment for visiting the holy places where Krishna had his pastimes, but they simply have a view for salvation, and so their activities cannot be considered attachment. It is said by Rupa Goswami that the attachment exhibited by pure devotees for Krishna cannot possibly be perfected by the hearts of fruity workers, karmis, or mental speculators because such attachment in pure Krishna consciousness is very rare and not possible to achieve even for many liberated persons. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, liberation from material contamination is the stage at which devotional service can be achieved. For a person who simply wants to have liberation and to merge into the impersonal Brahma Jyotir, attachment to Krishna is not possible to acquire. This attachment is very confidentially kept by Krishna and is bestowed only upon pure devotees. Prabhuji, can you please scroll the screen? Even Even ordinary devotees cannot have such pure attachment for Krishna. Therefore, how is it possible for success to be achieved by persons whose hearts are contaminated by the actions and reactions of fruitive activities and who are entangled by various types of mental speculation? There are many so called devotees who artificially think of Krishna's pastimes known as Ashtakaliya Leela. Sometimes one may artificially imitate these, pretending that Krishna is talking with him in the form of a boy, or else one may pretend that Radharani and Krishna both have come to him and are talking with him. Such characteristics are sometimes exhibited by the impersonalist class of men, and they may captivate some innocent persons who have no knowledge in the science of devotion service. However, as soon as an experienced devotee sees all of these caricatures, he can immediately evaluate such rascaldom. If such a pretender is sometimes seen possessing imitative attachment to Krishna, that will not be accepted as real attachment. It may be said, however, that such attachment gives the pretender hope that he may eventually rise onto the actual platform of pure devotional service. So, would you can you please scroll? The imitative attachment can be divided into two headings, namely shadow attachment and para transcendental attachment. If someone, without undergoing the regulative principles of devotional service or without being guided by a bona fide spiritual master, shows such imitative attachment, this is called shadow attachment. Sometimes it is found that a person actually attached to material enjoyment or salvation has the good fortune to associate with pure devotees while they are engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord. By the good grace of the Lord, one may also cooperate and join in the chanting. At that time, simply by the association of such pure devotees, the moonlight rays from their hearts reflect on him. And by the influence of the pure devotees, he may show some likeness of attachment caused by inquisitiveness. But this is very flickering. And if by the manifestation of such shadow attachment one feels the disappearance of all material pangs, then it is called para attachment. Such shadow attachment or para attachment can develop if one associates with a pure devotee or visits holy places like Vrindavan or Mathura. And if an ordinary man develops such attachment for Krishna and fortunately performs devotional activities in the association of pure devotees, he can also rise to the platform of pure devotional service. The conclusion is that transcendental attachment is so powerful that if such attachment is seen manifested even in some common man by the association of a pure devotee, it can bring one to the perfectional stage. So, would you please scroll? Prabhuji, can you please scroll?
Very much. So here, Rup Goswami is talking about semblance of bhava, which is of two types. One is called pratibimba bhava bhas, and the other is called chaya bhava bhas. Bhava is also known as rati, so it's also known as rati abhas, which means it's a semblance of rati. It's not real rati, unreal rati or bhava. So he's saying sometimes it may happen that melting of heart, which means feeling some emotions or desire to stay in Krishna's abode, may be visible in those who are desirous of liberation, but they don't want to please the Lord. Hmm. So these should be considered as a semblance. A semblance. Huh? So here is explained that these are of two types. One is the pratibimba, which is reflection, and chaya, it means shadow. But actually, shadow is not the real translation. Real translation would be splendor. Splendor means effulgence of rati. Mm. So it appears in those who are mixed devotees, not pure devotees, right? So reflection of rati or bhava uh, will come in those who have a desire for material enjoyment or who have a desire for liberation from material life. These two people may get pratibimba rati appearance. And such a rati may appear without much efforts also. Whereas and in whom it does appear, it appears in those people who might have accidentally come into contact with some devotee, and therefore that person is experiencing some bhava, or that person has momentarily engaged in some anga of bhakti. Then there is this experience. Right? So that's reflection. Chaya, the splendor of Rati, it is similar to the real Rati, but it is unstable. That's why it's called Chaya. It is unstable. It's not for long period of time. It is just very short, momentarily. It destroys material suffering. And this Rati Abhas uh, appears in those who are ignorant people, but they are trying to serve the Supreme Lord. Uh, they are engaging in activities trying to serve the Supreme Lord or please the Supreme Lord, like observing festival, going for pilgrimage, chanting the holy name, associating with the devotee. So sometimes they experience this bhav, rati, it is semblance of it. So this rati, which is semblance to original rati, can transform into real rati by the mercy of a pure devotee of Krishna. But by offending a pure devotee of Krishna, his rati may also get destroyed. Like, I'll give you an example. Srila Prabhupada was chanting in the park in New York. First time he went to the park to chant with his followers. So when Srila Prabhupada was chanting in the park, he did not signal to his followers that they should dance. But some of his followers, they started dancing. And the first person to stand up and dance was Brahmanand Prabhu. So Srila Prabhupada noted this. He even used to tell this many a times that whenever he used to talk about Brahmanand Prabhu, that when I was chanting in New York Park, he was the first to stand up and start dancing. Okay. So please try to listen attentively and understand. Srila Prabhupada is chanting the holy name. He's a pure devotee of Krishna chanting pure name. Brahmanand Prabhu is, let's say, in this life, just a sadhaka who has come in contact with devotional service. And he, by the influence of hearing that holy name coming from the mouth of a pure devotee, he feels inspired to get up and start dancing. Okay. What is dancing? Dancing is one of the bhavas. Dancing is one of the bhavas. To dance when you hear the name of Krishna, a kirtan of Krishna is actually a bhava. So if you are hearing the pure name or you are hearing the name purely, you will feel like dancing. Bhava will manifest, right? So that bhava manifested in him. Was he a pure devotee at that time? Not really. He was just coming to devotional service, practicing, sincerely following Srila Prabhupada. So at that moment, what happened? Chaya bhava bhas, a shadow of bhava was experienced by Prabhu. So he started dancing, But when he started dancing, Srila Prabhupada noticed that he was the first to stand up and dance. Now, noticing this means what? Prabhupada noticed this means what? Now, when I notice, you notice, we just notice and Hari Bol, done. But if a pure devotee of Krishna notices, that means now the mercy of pure devotee will also come. He noticed. So Prabhupada noticed that he was the first to stand up and dance. And because of that, others also started dancing. So this brought what? Mercy from Srila Prabhupada. He was the first to dance. So, what is explained by Rupa Goswami? When you come in the contact with pure devotees of Krishna, even if you are a neophyte, an ignorant soul, but you faithfully, sincerely engage in sadhana or any bhakti, hang of bhakti, you may momentarily experience bhava. Momentarily, you may experience bhava, even as a neophyte. And when you experience bhava, if the pure devotee of Krishna becomes pleased with you or blesses you, or gives mercy to you, then that bhava may later on transform into real bhava. It was just a momentary experience of bhava, but later on it may transform into real bhava, right? And that's how one can come to the stage of bhava bhakti. So then Rupa Goswami says, just like by the mercy of pure devotee, one may go from a very neophyte stage, experiencing chaya bhava abhas, to genuine bhava in later stages. Similarly, if a pure devotee is offended, then that genuine bhava can also become covered. And one may lose all kinds of emotions towards Krishna. That's also possible. So there are two types of bhava, pratibimba and chaya. So pratibimba is experienced by those who have desires for material enjoyment or liberation, mixed devotees. Chaya bhavabhas are experienced by those who are neophytes, ignorant souls, coming in association with pure devotees, sincerely practicing devotional service, pure intentions, not yet pure, but having pure intentions, and momentarily they experience bhava. So that's called Chaya Bhava Bhas. So this Chaya Bhava Bhas can go from transform into genuine, real bhav. That is possible by the mercy of pure devotee of Krishna. And if you offend the genuine devotees of the Lord, then this bhava may also get covered. That is also possible. So dangers of Vaishnava Prarabdha are what? If the offense is very grave, then bhava can get destroyed completely. Example is given of Dvivida Vanara, who was a servant of Lord Ramachandra in Rama Leela, but his offense was very grave, and because of which in Krishna Leela he became a demon. He was killed by Lord Balaram, right? His bhava disappeared. So that is Dvivida Vanara. Then if the offense is medium, when real bhava can turn into bhava bhas. The offense is slight, the bhava decreases in intensity or becomes an inferior type bhava, which means if you have the bhava of madhurya category, your bhava may come to dasya category. If your bhava is of dasya category, it may come to shanta category. So that is slight offense. Okay. And real bhava can also get destroyed if you associate with those people who are false devotees of Krishna, or those who are desires of material liberation, or those who have Mayavad philosophy or practice. So then genuine bhava can also get destroyed. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to say, Mayavad bhashya sunile hoy sarvanash, complete destruction. Because one who has developed bhava, real bhava, which is so rare, one of the characteristics of bhava bhakti is sudurlabha. Sudurlabha means very, very rare to attain. That rarely attained bhava bhakti can become completely destroyed by associating with someone having mayavad mentality. So Mahaprabhu says, if you do association of mayavad, होइले सर्वनाश, complete destruction may happen. So bhava again will get destroyed by doing that also. Worship of oneself as the Lord. Hmm. Okay. Next. Such shadow attachment or para attachment can develop if one associates with a pure devotee or visits holy places like Vrindavan, Mathura. And if an ordinary man develops such attachment for Krishna and fortunately performs devotional activities in the association of pure devotees, he can also rise to the platform of pure devotional service. The conclusion is that transcendental attachment is so powerful that if such attachment is seen manifested even in some common man by the association of pure devotee, it can bring one to the perfectional stage. But such attachment for Krishna cannot be invoked in a person without his being sufficiently blessed by the association of pure devotees. So when Srila Prabhupada was manifest on this planet, we saw that by his association, his followers, his disciples, they exhibited very strong and intense emotions towards Krishna. And that's why they could achieve so much in just 11 years. I mean, impossible things they could do. Having sleepless nights and traveling all over the world and starting so many temples, distributing so many books. Amazing activities they did because they had strong influence of Srila Prabhupada upon them. The association of Srila Prabhupada was affecting them. So they could achieve so much in just 11 years, actually. Amazing achievements were made. So that was because of association with pure devotee, they exhibited such ecstatic emotions. And when such emotions are exhibited, one also doesn't feel material suffering. So when you don't feel material suffering, then only you can do wonderful activities, no? So how could they sleep less, eat less, not be affected by summer or winter, by bodily discomfort, mental inconvenience, because they were experiencing very ecstatic emotions because of the presence of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada had influence on them, and they could do so much, right? As attachment can be invoked by the association of pure devotees, so attachment can also be extinguished by offenses committed at the lotus feet of pure devotees. To be more clear, by the association of pure devotees, attachment for Krishna can be aroused. But if one commits offense at the lotus feet of devotee, one's shadow attachment or para attachment can be extinguished. This extinguishing is like the waning of the full moon, which gradually decreases and at last becomes dark. One should therefore be very careful while associating with pure devotees to guard against committing an offense at the lotus feet. Transcendental attachment, either shadow or para, can be nullified by different degrees of offenses at the lotus feet of pure devotees. Even if the offense is very serious, then one's attachment becomes almost nil. If the offense is not very serious, one's attachment can become second class or third class. If someone becomes attached to the principles of salvation or to merging into the existence of the Brahma Jyoti, his ecstasies gradually diminish into shadow and para attachment, or else transform into the principles of. Jali Mataji, please continue reading from if once someone becomes attached.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Did you take my
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I'll read from this. If someone becomes attached, or I read from that line. This ahang
If
graph.
someone becomes attached.
Okay. If someone becomes attached to the principles of salvation or to merging into the existence of Brahm Jyoti, his ecstasies gradually diminish into shadows and para attachment, or else transform into the principles of ahanga. I will not be able to read properly, but I'll read ahangraho pasna. This ahangrapasna describes a living entity when he begins spiritual realization by identifying himself with the Supreme Lord. The state of self realization is technically known as monism. The monist thinks himself one with the Supreme Lord. Thus, because he does not differentiate between himself and the Supreme Lord, it is his view that by worshipping himself, he is worshipping the Supreme Whole. Sometimes it is found that a neophyte is taking part in chanting and dancing very enthusiastically, but within himself, he is under the impression that he has become one with the Supreme Whole. This conception of monism is completely different from pure transcendental devotional service. If, however, it is seen that a person has developed a high standard of devotion without having undergone even the regulative principles, it is to be understood that his status of devotional service was achieved in a former life. For some reason or another, it had been temporarily stopped, most probably by an offense committed at the lotus feet of a devotee. Now, with the good second chance, it has again begun to develop. The conclusion is that steady progress in devotional service can be attained only in the association of a pure devotee. If one can gradually advance his status in devotional service, this is understood to be due to the causeless mercy of Krishna himself. If a person is completely detached from material enjoyment and has developed a pure ecstatic devotion, even if he is sometimes accidentally found not living up to the standard of devotional service, one should not be envious of him. It is confirmed also in Bhagavad Gita that a devotee who has unflinching faith in and devotion to the Lord, even if sometimes found to be accidentally deviated from pure devotional characteristics, should still be counted among the pure. Unflinching faith in devotional service in Lord Krishna and in the spiritual master makes one highly elevated in the activities of devotional service. In the Narsimha Purana, it is stated if a person has completely engaged his mind, body, and activities in the service of the Supreme Godhead, but externally he is found to be engaged in some abominable activities, these abominable activities will surely be very quickly vanquished by the influence of his staunch devotional force. This example is given that on the full moon there are some spots which may appear to be pockmarks. Still, the illumination spread by the full moon cannot be checked. Similarly, a little fault in the midst of volumes of devotional service is not at all to be counted as a fault. Attachment for Krishna is transcendental bliss. Amid unlimited volumes of transcendental bliss, a spot of some material defects cannot act in any way. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Mhm. Okay. Any questions or comments?
हो जा तो थोड़ी देर रेस्ट कर ले 5 मिनट में आने वाली होगी वो हो गया होगा
Any
Hare
questions or
Krishna, Prabhuji.
comments? Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, why one should have this hope in loving Krishna that because I'm trying my best to follow the routine principle of devotional service, I'm sure that I will go back to Godhead. I mean, is there should one should have a reason
Yeah.
or hope in loving Krishna? I don't
Your voice got stuck in between. Can you please ask again from the beginning, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhu. Just a second. Prabhu, I'm asking why one should have one hope in loving Krishna, that Krishna will take us. Because I am trying my best to follow the routine principle of devotion service, I'm sure that I will go back to Godhead, back to home. I mean, why one should have this hope?
Why one should have this hope? Because one knows that Krishna is very merciful in nature. Krishna's nature is that he's very merciful. So one has hope that Krishna is very kind and merciful. So he will be kind upon me also. It's like, it's not that you have hope because you are doing sadhana very nicely. Rup Goswami is saying that sometimes you may not do sadhana nicely also. And actually, someone who is doing nice sadhana will never feel I'm doing nice sadhana. It's a matter of attitude. Those something they never feel I'm good in that thing because they always think there is some way to improve, some scope is there for improvement. Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was such a noble person, but he felt what was wrong with Duryodhana? After all, he was a good king because he has a nature to see good in others. So, I mean, I'm not so good as Duryodhana was already doing a good job. Why should I become a king? So those who are doing sadhana nicely, they will never think that I'm doing a good sadhana. They will always think, some other devotee is doing better sadhana than me. So it's not that because I'm doing good sadhana, I'll have hope that Krishna will be merciful upon me. It's just that because I'm convinced about Krishna's merciful nature. Krishna is merciful. Krishna is kind. Anyone who comes in contact with Krishna gets benefited. So I will also get benefit. Regardless of whether I am perfect, I'm not perfect. Whether I'm good, I'm bad. Whether I'm a good sadhaka or not good sadhaka. Krishna is merciful. Krishna will have mercy upon me. So there like two things are there. One is you have you understanding about yourself, and then you have understanding about Krishna. And the third thing is that you have this understanding that your relationship with Krishna is from your side conditional, but unconditional from Krishna's side.
Okay.
Right? So in the material world, uh, our experience with relationship is what? If I am unconditional towards you, you will become unconditional towards me. Isn't it? Correct? If I appreciate you more, you will appreciate me more. If I care for you more, you will care for me more. Isn't it? So relationships are like that in this material world. Why? Because we are like that. That's our nature. But Krishna's nature is not that. Krishna is unconditional in all ways. He's unconditional. If Krishna is killing someone, that is also Krishna's mercy. If Krishna is embracing someone, that is also Krishna's mercy. He's only giving mercy, right? That's his merciful nature. So my understanding as a practitioner about Krishna Tattva or about Krishna's nature should be very clear that Krishna is all merciful. Because he is all merciful, so I have come in contact with him. Definitely I'll get some mercy of Krishna. Maybe it will come late, but it will come. It will come because he is all merciful. So understanding Krishna's nature, one does not give up hope. Not that one has so much faith on one's own sadhana. Understanding Krishna's nature, one doesn't give up hope. Understanding Krishna's nature, one doesn't. Krishna is very kind.
Because sometimes some devotees share their experience, like when they are chanting, they sometimes say, Krishna, please take me from this word. They cry for this. So is it
Why?
that bhav level or not bhav? So, nowhere bhav. I don't understand sometimes. What is the difference between the intention or the
But
hope?
why do we have to understand whether someone else is at bhav or not a bhav?
Sometimes it
That is a
comes in my mind.
that is a big problem, no? First of all, we have to give up this judgmental attitude. Why should I judge someone else is at bhav or not bhav? I should be happy whether that person is at bhav or not at bhav. What do I have to do with that?
Sometimes it comes in my mind also. So
Yeah, so it will come in our mind because we are judgmental in nature. We want to judge. Why we want to judge? Because if we can convince ourselves that that person is not at bhava, then that will be very pleasing to our ego. Yeah. So that person is not at bhava. So we don't have to be judge. We don't have to really judge, and you don't have to um, judge anyone. Actually, if you are sincere, you don't have to see someone's activities to know whether the other person is sincere or not sincere. If you are sincere, you are genuinely uh, wanting the genuine thing, then Krishna will Krishna will protect you from wrong people. You don't have to wear the lens, of judgment. This is good devotee, this is bad devotee, this is nice devotee, this is not so nice devotee. You don't have to do that. You be sincere, Krishna will protect you from wrong sangha, and Krishna will always keep you in the right sangha. Sometimes people think I have to, I have to know all this so that I can protect myself from bad association. But if you are not sincere, you can never protect yourself from bad association. Why? Because if you are by nature a fly, you will get attracted to nasty things. Isn't it? You change your nature, you become a honeybee, then you'll not be attracted to nasty things. But if you are a fly, you'll get attracted to nasty things. So sometimes some person may think intellectually, I'll understand good and bad, and I'll try to protect myself from the bad. I'll keep myself always with the good. But intellectual discrimination will not help much. My heart will go where my mind goes, and my mind will go where my nature is. So if I have the nature of a fly, my heart will naturally go in that direction. If my nature is like a honeybee, my heart will naturally go in that direction. So I don't have to judge if that devotee is in bhava or not bhava. You be sincere, you understand what is bhava, you associate with good devotees, then Krishna will automatically protect you from wrong association.
thank you.
If we are properly practicing Krishna consciousness, this is very simple. You hear the speech of someone, anyone, X, Y, Z, iskcon, non-iskcon, Gaudiya Vaishnava, non-Gaudiya Vaishnava, uh, known devotee, unknown devotee, popular devotee, not so popular devotee. If you are yourself properly situated in Krishna consciousness, just by hearing 2 minutes of someone's talk, you'll come to know whether you should associate with that person or not associate with that person. You don't have to see so much. Why? Because Krishna is sitting in your heart as Paramatma. So he will say or he'll guide. We don't have to judge. Okay, any other question? Vendarani Mataji?
If someone is practicing sadhana bhakti without aiming or meditating on bhava, just out of duty, does this person comes to bhava level eventually?
No. No. One can go on practicing sadhana for many, many lifetimes. So therefore, one should have utkantha. Utkantha means eagerness. To serve Krishna with feelings, spiritual feelings. Then bhava will manifest. You know why? Because if you have 50 rupees and you are satisfied with that, why will you get 100? So someone is saying, I am very dutifully engaged in sadhana and happy with this. So Krishna will say, okay, remain happy with that much. Stay happy. Because Krishna's nature is what? You desire, he fulfills. Isn't it? Someone desires to be a pig, Krishna says, okay, be happy. Someone desires to be a dog, Krishna says, okay, be happy. That's his, he's right. So therefore, one has to desire also. You're understanding? One has to desire also.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. In Pratibimba Bhava Bas, you had like mixed devotee, you said that. Can you explain? I didn't understand completely that Pratibimba Abhavas. Pratibimba Bhavas.
Pratibimba Rati Abhas means it is experienced by devotees who have desire for material sense gratification or liberation. They are not pure devotees of Krishna. They are mixed. That means they do bhakti for ulterior motives. It's just like, let's say someone was a Mayavadi, wants to merge with Krishna, become one with Krishna. And that person has been doing so much of austerity and still success is not there. And person that hears, why do so much tapasya? Just chant the name of Krishna and you will achieve whatever you want. So he thinks, I have been fasting for so many years, I did not get any good result. And now someone is telling me, you just chant the name of Krishna, all your desires will get fulfilled. My desire is to become one with Krishna. That desire will also get fulfilled. Okay. So that person has become very happy now. Just by chanting name of Krishna, I'll become one with Krishna. So that person is now chanting and dancing, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, whatever name of Krishna he is taking or she is taking. Because internally he is becoming very happy. I'll become one with Krishna just by chanting Krishna now. So this is what bhava, chanting and dancing. So you say, oh, such a nice devotee. This devotee is chanting and dancing Krishna. But why is he dancing? Why is he dancing? He's dancing because he is happy that by chanting Krishna's name, he'll get mukti very easily. Or he'll get liberation very easily. Or he'll become one with Krishna very easily. So that is called Pratibimba Rati Avas.
Okay, Prabhu. Now I understand.
Understanding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Example, anything? Chaya, you explained nicely about Brahmananda Prabhu. Any example for this also?
Pratibimba. I mean, there were so many people can come as an example in that. It's Pratibimba. why we have to take names, but so many people chant name of Krishna. So many Mayavadis are there, they speak Bhagavad Katha. They chant names of Krishna. They sing bhajans. They're very happy doing that. So they are not getting sukh or anand of serving Krishna. Internally, they are becoming happy that I'll become one with Krishna. Easily.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
You understand? Therefore, Srila Prabhupada was very strong in his preaching that don't associate with anyone, because he knew that new devotees cannot externally identify this is a Mayavadi, this is a devotee. In Vrindavan, there are so many people who are Mayavadis, but they chant Krishna's name. They externally show themselves as devotees, but they are not devotees, they are Mayavadis. So many in Vrindavan. During Prabhupada times also. Externally, they will uh, look like a Vaishnava. Why they look like a Vaishnava? Because if you dress like a Vaishnava, at least you get 4 chapatis a day, little khichdi. So many people may you know dress like a Vaishnava. So it's not easy to. That's a Prabhupada was very. He used to warn devotees, don't associate with anyone thinking that this is devotee of Krishna. It's, any other question? No? All clear? So tomorrow will be our last session because only one chapter is left, which is chapter 19, which talks about Prema Bhakti, the last subject matter, right? So we'll end this course tomorrow. And because there are not many students, I'm merging the session with also the closing ceremony, right, for tomorrow. So we'll do the closing ceremony where you can share your reflections or realizations about Bhakti-sastri course, studying Srila Prabhupada books. And then I posted the schedule. Next week we can do, one exam, and then on 31st you can do the other exam, right? So please join for the session tomorrow. And from June 1st, we are starting a new batch of Bhakti-sastri. So do let know other devotees or friends who might be interested to join in this new batch. Fine, we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki